Welcome back, Solo Raiders. Thaemine has come out, so has Echidna, so we got to make some guides for you guys. So let's start off with Thaemine Solo Raid Guide. Got some gameplay recorded here. This might end up being kind of a longer video, mostly because of Gate 3, but anyway. So they added a couple new, I think, buffs they mentioned for this Solo Raids this time. And they also added this little thing on the left-hand side. It's nothing you have to do, but you'll get some like random buffs periodically throughout fights. It'll either protect you or you'll deal more damage. So Gate 1, what you're going to want to do is equip your health potions, and that's literally all you need. If you want to bring darks, you can. If you want to bring destruction grenades like the real raid, you can, but that you don't need it. You can just use your skills. I tested it out, and the destruction check is very, very weak in the solo mode raids. I think literally weak point level 1. So any destruction skill will meet the requirement. So if you see this little target on you, that's just aggro from the boss. I know this scares people the first time they're in here. You don't have to do anything, just fight the boss. It's a free damage window. Don't even worry about it in the slightest. And the first mech that you're going to get in this gate is 145. And there's some counters here that I was going to show you guys, but don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. All right. So the very first mech, it's around 145-ish when you do damage. And all it is you run to the edge of the map, and a bunch of these tendrils will shoot out. You don't want to get hit by them. That's why you go to the edge. So you'll see your screen goes out. All these blue lines don't get hit. Then I throw a destruction grenade because you kind of do that in the raid, but you do not have to do this in solo mode. This mech will repeat at 55 bars, and you'll see I just use a skill. I wanted to test it both ways. But you can just use one skill, they'll all pull in, and then the rest of them follow. And then you just simply do a stagger check. That's it. All right. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So the next, well, I guess the end of this, she's going to do an attack. You just hide behind her. You're just dodging. She takes reduced damage right now, so just dodge the best you can, but there's no more to the mech. You're done. So after the very first mechanic, you have a window. Pretty much anytime after like 145 down to 100 bars is this window. The next mechanic will start approximately around 100 bars. And I say approximately because there's two ways to trigger the next mech. The first way to trigger the mech, you'll see here, is based on hitting a counter and placing these little red meteors you're going to get in the same crater hole. So you can see these three black kind of holes over here. So I'll hit this counter, and then look at this red thing around me. I breed some damage here first. But see these little red thing? You have to pick any hole. It does not matter. Any one you want on the first meteor. Then when you get another counter, you have to place it in the same exact crater you dropped the first one in. So you'll see she'll shoot an attack at you, and then it's going to have like this, the hole gets much, much larger now. You'll see this. It's got like this red stuff on it, see? It's like lightning almost. So you would hit a second counter, and then you would drop the meteor in the same exact place. That would trigger the mechanic. The other way to trigger the mechanic is just to simply damage the boss. And if you get her underneath 100 health bars, she'll just go into the mech. The difference is, if you do it the correct way, or the way the game intended before we were very strong, you hit both counters, you go drop off the red circle in the same spot twice, you will not have to use your sidereal in order to live through the mech. If you just push damage, like you'll see here, so she had 106, I used this skill and I pushed her to 99. Now she's pretty much done. Once she stands up, she's not gonna shoot that second meteor over here. She's just gonna go into the mech. I didn't mean to do that, by the way. I didn't think I was gonna take off that many health bars. I was gonna show you both ways, but it's fine. This is what most people will probably end up doing. You'll push to 100 naturally, I'm thinking, and you'll just use Balthor, Control C. When you use it, your screen backs out and you can pretty much just press it. And the whole purpose is because Balthor will knock her up into the air. If you do the double counter thing, she'll jump in the air on her own. So now all you're waiting for is, see these tendrils? 2 of them have these little squiggly red lines on them. You have to use a destruction skill on that, but just wait for the first explosion to go and then use the destruction skill. You're going to stand in that yellow circle. It'll pull you up into the air and prevent you from wiping. That's the second mech. Not bad at all. All right. This is a normal attack pattern she does. I just wanted to tell you guys about it. She gets this weird like squid alien head and she's trying to grab you. And she can grab you 2 ways. She'll dash at you, then she'll turn to you and jump backwards and shoot a bunch of tendrils out. So you'll see she'll turn, jump backwards, shoot a bunch of tendrils out. If you get grabbed by it, it's not a big deal. I just wanted you guys to know how to deal with it if you wanted to. Afterwards, you'll have to do a counter, and she'll do a sharp 90-degree turn, then a back step. That's how you know she's ready to counter. Just a normal attack pattern. Wanted to show you guys what it was. So the next mech, while you're up top here, is the same exact as the first one. So it's like 145 bars and 55 bars, so approximately the same mechanic. Run to the edge, any edge you want, and you're going to do a destruction. You see I use a skill this time. So destruction skill, you can use more destruction skills if you want. I don't understand exactly what makes them pull in at what speed. So if you want to just use different destruction skills, it might speed it up, but you'll see they're all going to pull in on their own right now. Boom. I think maybe you have to trigger a certain amount of them. So just use destruction skills and then they'll all pull in. Again, stagger check, and we're going to go into the basement. So the basement really only has one mechanic, and normally, and what I'm going to teach you guys is what groups do and what I would recommend in solo play. You're going to use a special hidden interaction with the sidereal skill. It's Balthor again. Control C by default. And you're going to make this Balthor metal plate where he slams down, you get a buff, and it triggers a DPS window for you. It's a DPS race. You have to do enough damage to the boss to break the shield, or you'll die. I think the DPS requirement is very low. You'll be fine. I am on full disclosure. I don't have any characters that were at 1610. I wish I did. This character is 1640. You have access to Hyper Awakening T skill. You're disgustingly strong. So that skews the fight a bit. If you're on a 1610 eye level character, then the pace might be a little slower. So what I want you guys to do is wait for this boss to do a certain attack pattern. These eyeballs, by the way, they will spawn periodically, and then you walk over them, they'll get large and pop. If you're standing on them when they do that, it'll take you down to like 1 HP. So not only do they do a tremendous amount of damage, they're going to spawn these 3 little ghosts if it's the same as the normal raid. I should have tested this now that I'm thinking of it. But these 3 little ghosts will spawn, and they'll try and charm you. You'll have this moon over your head that fills up, and if it fills up, you're charmed. But what do you need to know? Ghosts will spawn, you're just going to run away from them. They have a tether attached to you, and they'll just try and stay close to you to keep the meter, but as long as you just keep running away, they'll eventually just despawn. You don't have to worry about it. You can also kill them, but I normally get myself in trouble when I try and kill them, and I get charmed. So just run away until they despawn if your health drops too low. So run over the eyes to pop them. That's all you got to do. See here, it gets big, and then it pops. Little mouth comes up to eat you. Classic eyeball mouth. All right, so we're going to pump here. So around anytime after 37 bars, if you want to do this the way that I always learned it, technically you can use Balthor whenever you want. If you have really big damage, you can just use it earlier. But I waited for this attack for a very long time. This is how I learned it. The boss will get these long fingers, and she'll do this red telegraph in front of her dash attack. That's when I Balthor. So you'll see she got these long alien fingers. Here's the red telegraph right in front of her. She does this dash. This is when I would Balthor. So I just cast Control C, Balthor. Make sure you're near the metal plate. This will trigger a special interaction. You'll see the boss will get a shield in a second. Boom. This is a DPS race. I have a Hyper Awakening, so I just get to press the win button, essentially. But if you don't, you are on a lower eye level character, 1610. I would advise you to use an atropine potion and a dark grenade. So just throw a dark grenade at the boss, pop your atro, and unload your skills. I'm pretty sure anybody will be able to get through this requirement doing this method. No problem. And after that, you're done. That's gate 1. So gate 2, I would advise you guys to bring a time stop potion just for like a oh no moment. And that's really it. If you want to bring, dark grenades to speed up the fight, that's good too. First mechanic, when you're fighting this guy, you'll see it's a counter mechanic, and they adjusted a little bit for solo play because they have to. So what you'll do is you'll run down here opposite side of this red circle, and you're going to wait for this little orb to spawn. It's going to pop out, and then it'll flash blue. It'll always stop right there. You'll see it flash blue, then you counter it. Boom. Now, in solo mode, you have to run up to the boss up top, wait for him to flash blue, and counter him. He can do a fake out for his counter. The orb always flashes blue, you counter it, but watch this. He can flash red. Boom. If you counter him, you'll die. This is normally only in hard mode. So I was actually very surprised that they added this here. But they'll flash, if he flashes red like this, do not counter. Just wait a second, then he'll flash blue. So he can either do the red fake out or he can start with the blue. So here's the start with the blue. Boom, you hit the counter. You're done. Another cool thing they added in solo mode is they removed the bridge run completely. So if you guys ever seen anybody do Thaemine, this is where you would start running across the bridge, hit counters. It's a whole deal. It's a long process too. It's probably like, 4 or 5 minutes worth of stuff that you have to do here. In solo mode, they teleport you to the very end, that last little bridge you got to run across, which is really cool. And because they did this, they added a special interaction sidereal at the end. Normally, you use a sidereal skill for a special interaction during the bridge fight. But because they removed it, they kept the pattern still in here so you guys can practice. So what you're going to do is you're going to use Control X, a Xena, and you'll see the boss does a very specific pattern. And I think it's always the first pattern he does on the couple runs I did. It was always the very first pattern. So you'll see we'll wait 1 second for it, and then boom, he does that big, he puts his arms here and he throws them down. You get these huge wind gusts. Do not be on the side of him because he'll knock you down. And if you get knocked down, it's too late to use the side. So be in front of him, just staring right at him. You won't get hit by anything when he does this. And as soon as you see this pattern, Control X, and you get a free DPS window and a lot of damage. So you'll see. Used it, the boss gets frozen. You just get to beat him up. And Xena also does a fat chunk of damage too. She's just like 20 bars. So the first mechanic you're going to do now, it's a stagger check, but you can't use your skills. You have to use these orbs. Now the boss will get a shield. It'll be either dark purple or white. There's going to be orbs that spawn around the map. They will be either dark purple or white. You have to hit the opposite orb into the shield. So see, this is a purple shield. We're going to have to hit the white orbs. And what you'll do is just line up on the other side of the orb, pretty much make a straight line, boss, orb, you. You just right on the other side here, and you can just auto attack it or use a skill, it doesn't matter, and you'll knock it in that direction. So take your time lining up. This people rushing is where they mess this up. But see here, the boss is here, orb is here. Just take your time. You're good. It's favorable. Like, you can hit it a little bit off to the side here and it'll still hit him. It's as long as you just don't hit the orb like way out here, it'll still count. And you'll need 3 orbs. 3 orbs in solo mode. Boom. You're done. That's the next mech. Easy peasy. The final mechanic happens at around 18 bars, and the boss will disappear. He'll enclose you in this big circle, and there's 3 rounds of enemies. First, he's going to spawn 8 mobs that you have to kill. Then he's going to spawn 4 mobs. Then he's going to spawn 2 mobs. So the 8 mobs, pretty weak. Just unload on them. You'll kill them pretty fast. The next round is a group of 4 guys. They're much stronger. So save your big hitter skills. Try and group them up. And then kill them if you can. Meanwhile, you got to dodge their attacks and stuff like that too. It's a lot of fun. So just dodge these guys the best you can. And then kill them. So the last part, he's going to spawn 2 dragons, 2 copies of himself. See here? You can see on your mini-map, and you can see the front attack indicators. One of them will flash blue. Do not counter him. You're just going to do a little loop around where he was standing and use Thaemine, your sidereal skill, Control Z to hit both of them. So you'll see which one's going to be blue. So you want to stand in the middle because the blue guy is going to dash wherever you're standing. You know, he runs at you. So he's going to run where I'm standing. I'm going to loop around down here to where he is approximately and use Thaemine to hit both of them. Thaemine will kill the guy in the back. The one that's not blue, that's just sitting back here, Thaemine kills him 100%. The guy that's running, that flashes blue, you have to finish him off. He has like, I don't know, 5% health left. Very low. So you'll see Thaemine dodge the yellow. Thaemine kills this guy in the back. And then you just finish this guy off yourself. And that's the last mech, and the boss is very low health now. You'll just probably kill him here. I pressed the Hyper Awakening button just because it's fun. But he's got, 13.5 bars. You'll be able to kill him. It's a free damage window right there. That's gate 2. So gate 3 is where you are going to spend the vast majority of your time. It is a difficult gate. They made some tweaks to things, but it's a very fun fight, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Battle items, I would keep it the same. You're going to want to have a time stop. You can bring some darks as well and health potions. We're going to have to cover a lot of small things in this gate. It's just the nature of it, so this will probably go on a while. Sorry, it is what it is. So when you first start out this fight, the Thaemine's sitting back here on his throne, and he'll raise one of his hands up. Whatever hand he raises up, run to that side of the map. That's the same side here. So you'll see, watch him. All right, this hand goes up, so we go that way. It's his right hand, so we run to our left. Now you just stand over here, and you're going to wait for these explosions to go by here. See them going off. Then you can run into the middle. You can do some damage, dodge these big sword explosions. They'll give you a debuff that makes you take 20% more damage. What we're going to do is just attack. It's a stagger bar, but just pretend it's a damage. You want to get as much damage off as possible here. Don't worry about like doing your big stagger skills. Just use everything you have. And this is a fixed pattern. These red circles always explode first. Then a small ring around the sword will go off. If you have push immunity, you can use it. If not, just walk out, and then you're free to beat him up. So here comes the red ring. I'm going to use push immunity. Just beat him up. All right, that's the opener. It's always the same. You can figure out your rotation and stuff. Now, when the boss first starts, he's going to reappear behind you and try and slam down and shoot a projectile that does a bunch of damage. Always dodge this projectile. He does this attack throughout the entire fight. So you just have to get used to this, because he also, every single other time he does this, he'll put a blue sword above your head. I'll show you in a little bit when it pops up. And you're going to have to drop the sword off on the edge of the map because it makes little statues of Thaemine. All right, so see, he lands, slams, and do not be in front. He shoots this big projectile. It hurts really bad. So you'll do some damage, and you'll get him to like 274, and that will trigger Albion, they call it. So all this is, the boss teleports to the middle. He traps you in this circle. You can use it as a free damage window. Do damage for a couple seconds while he's walking, then walk away from him and get ready to spacebar. The smoke comes out. You have to spacebar over the smoke, or you get a darkness debuff. So boom, spacebar over. Then he's going to do one of 2 patterns. I've only seen 2 patterns. I maybe did 10 pulls or something like that, and I've only seen 2 patterns for solo mode. For normal and hard, there's 4 different variations of Albion, but these are the only 2 I think you'll have to deal with. So these red lines, it's telling you, it's like a little Simon Says thing where the damage is going to come from. So the damage is going to come over here, staggered lines, multiple lines, and then one big explosion over here. So you can see this part's safe. So what you'll do is these lines are coming, right? Doop, doop, doop. Once they get close to you, just space bar or use a movement skill to dash over them and then come right back for the second explosion. So dash over, come right back, you'll see it explode. There you go. Done. The second variation, it's the only other one I saw. The lines go out from the middle. Again, multi-lines going out in both directions. Then it's a straight line from where you are, that's safe with Thaemine, and then perpendicular safe zones. See how really close to him is also safe? So if you want to just hug him, you can do that. So here come the lines, I dash over. Go front attack, there you go, you're done. Those are the two options. It'll take a little bit of practice, but you guys will get it. So after 255 bars, the next little mini mechanic happens. And there's two ways for people to deal with this. I'll show you guys both ways. It depends really on how strong you are, what you want to do. So the typical way that you would do this is that Thaemine's going to reappear when he takes full damage here. You're going to stay in the middle. And you're going to just try and get some damage off. And he's going to put this explosion thing on you. There's only one in solo mode. See how it tracks you? It moves with you. And once it stops tracking, you can just walk out of it and it'll explode. So here you go. You're done. It explodes. Then this sword will dash at you and you'll have to fight the sword. This is the worst attack the sword can do. He'll look at you, he'll do this uppercut, and then do this blender attack. This little chaotic, does a tremendous amount of damage. That's the one to look out for. What we're waiting for the sword fight is a opportunity to counter him. And I believe he goes counterable in a second here. This is smoke. You back up, you can spacebar over this. This happens throughout the entire fight. So I know this, he disappears like that. I know this is a counter. He's going to reappear and he's going to glow blue to counter him. Boink. There you go. Now you just kill him. You're done. That's like the way to deal with the sword since forever. As groups got stronger, characters got stronger, people would use the sidereal skill here in normal mode because you get to ignore all the different explosions. But in solo, there's really only one. So you could save the side if you wanted and just try and kill it. But what I advise if you want to try this out, which you should, have some fun with it. Use a dark grenade when the sword spawns and then just unload. So sword spawns, I use the sidereal skill. If you want to do that, it's Control C. This creates this big zone that grants you push immunity and damage reduction. So I threw a dark grenade and I'm just beating the sword down. And it's dead. There you go. So now the sword will dash away. It's dead though. It'll despawn when it's done. It has to do that first attack, but you're good with it. Okay. Now's the fun part. One of the many fun parts, I should say. This whole raid is fun. Thaemine has certain, we'll just call them the red attacks. Certain skills he does that are pretty much one-shots. They will kill you. And he does them, if you look at this gauge here in the top left, there's little segments. And I think it's broken down, there's like a segment 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like different segments. And he'll do one of these attack patterns pretty much once per segment. He'll do one of these, usually. Now, they're different based on if he's an enhanced state or a normal state. You're like, what is that? What does that mean? How can I tell? Well, with just practice. The beginning of the fight, up until you kill the sword that you just saw me do, normal. All right? Once you kill the sword, all the way until you go outside and he breaks the stage, that's enhanced. So sword break until stage break. Break to break. Enhanced. Fighting him after the broken stage, he goes back to normal. And then finally, when you get to the basement, enhanced. So normal, enhanced, normal, enhanced. 2 different of each. So this pattern doesn't look that hard, right? You see the red telegraph, you're like, all right, no big deal, I'll just stand here. This is the enhanced version of this. It'll be 2 explosions. If he's enhanced, the first explosion you saw the telegraph. The second explosion switches areas. So this explodes now. So you just have to learn this. Enhanced, you have to alternate. All right? If he's enhanced, alternate. There's really no special sauce there. You just got to learn it. So enhanced, alternate. If it was normal, you would stand in the same spot for both explosions. There you go. And I believe I've only seen 2 different red attacks. He has several, but I think in solo mode, I've only ever seen 2. All right, here's that attack, the one that he opened the fight with, where he tries to teleport behind you, slam down, and then shoot that projectile. That does a tremendous amount of damage. He's going to try and do that again. So here he is. He reappears. He's coming right here. He's going to slam down. I do not want to be in front of him, so I'm going to move. Every time he does this attack now, he puts a blue sword on you. And you just want to drop the sword off on the edge out of the way. Because anytime you make a statue by dropping this blue sword off, a statue spawns. For the entire rest of the fight, the statues will replicate this attack. The one where he slashes at the end, that does a bunch of damage. Any statue that's up will do the same thing. So you'll see you drop this off. I have no statues yet. So here's this little statue. I just want to show you guys. He would have attacked me. If he was already up, he would have done the same thing. Now, it's going to give you guys a little bit of trouble later in the fight when you are getting knocked off the stage. Or you can get knocked off the stage. I want you guys to learn this pattern he does. So anytime he does this, he slams down. Thaemine will either do a 180, so he'll be facing back behind him, or a 270. So he's attacking either behind him or over here to the left, which means that this whole area is safe. So after he shoots that projectile, his front will be safe, and then to his left side here will be safe. You guys should practice dodging in that area, because if you just run around trying to do damage, he'll spin around and he can knock you off the edge with this follow-up attack. So just know that that area is always safe that I just talked about. All right. So 225, he is going to do another mech. He's going to shoot out some smoke from the middle of the map. You will spacebar over the smoke, and then you will simply find a safe area. You see how there's all these safe spots? Well, they're going to start disappearing. They're just going to keep disappearing, and then only a couple will remain. So I would just look for one, keep running, don't get too comfortable. Be ready to move if the one you're standing in disappears. That's it. Cool cutscene. Back to business. All right. So here is the other red pattern that we were talking about. So this red pattern is a standstill the whole time, you'll see. The one before was alternating explosions. This one is just exploding in one spot the whole time. So just stay away from that. The next mech is when he does this little horse phase. Another cool cutscene. And you're going to do your first clash. So let me show you guys how this works. He'll land. You're going to want to stay behind him. So he runs to the wall. He runs along the wall, then he goes back to the middle. Hug the wall behind him because he shoots out projectiles towards the middle and they hurt. They will probably kill you. So here you go, projectiles. Now, the clash will be right about here. You'll see a blue circle pop up, but you want to be close to it because it doesn't give you a very long window to actually take the clash. But you take clashes by pressing G. So just look for this blue circle. There it is. I'm going to walk in and I'm spamming G right now to start the clash. There you go. You'll see what this is if you've never clashed. You just press the key at the right time And that's all clashing is. So Q, there you go. This first one might be all Qs. Yeah. In solo mode, clashing does damage to the boss. So you'll see you just finished that clash, right? All I want you to do is just unload your skills on him as quickly as possible to push him to the next phase. So there's not much health left. There you go. Shield's gone. So now you're outside before stage break, still enhanced. This is an attack pattern that I want you guys to know about. They call it Virgil. And you'll see he just dashes around all over the place. He'll jump to you. This can hurt really bad. Then he shoots these projectiles. You're just going to want to run sideways from where he is to dodge the projectiles as he's tracking you. That's it. Once you see that last big blue one shoot out, you're good to go. All right. What do we got next, sir? This is the first clash when you're outside. So this is the second clash total. First one outside. And you'll see your screen backs out and he'll teleport to some spot on the map. The clash will be like in front of him slightly. So you'll see you run over and you want to be kind of close. And you'll see this clash show up. And these are fixed spots. So you can like learn them and then know where to be. So you can be close enough to get there. So you're going to clash. Same thing as before. Press your key at the right time. I think there's only 2 on this one. All right. You can see the boss's health drop down pretty good. Okay. Now let's do some fun stuff. So in the top left, you see his meter. How all the segments have been filled, and it's glowing with blue flames of danger. What he's going to do now is those special red patterns we talked about. He's going to do both of them, 2 in a row, and I think there's only 2 in normal. So he's going to do both of them now. The catch is you're blind, so you don't get to see the red indicators, and we'll show you what this looks like. So here you go. Your whole screen goes dark. So now what you have to learn is his actual animations to tell you what attack he's doing. So we are in enhanced mode, right? So let's see what he does. So he lifts up his sword over his head. This is the alternating safe zones where there's 2 explosions and you're like, okay, where do I go? Well, the back left here in a cone shape will always be safe for the first explosion. So that's where I want you guys to go. Top left, run over here and don't be right next to him. You can get killed there. So create some space and wait for this explosion. Boom. And then you can see where that explosion was, right? Now you just go stand on the other side, top right. That's the first red pattern. So now he's going to do the second one. What does this animation look like? So he pulls his sword up, lays it in front of him, floating in the air. Cardinal directions will be safe in a cone shape. So cardinal directions meaning north, south, east, and west. So you can go anywhere you want, just be right behind him, right in front of him, or directly on his sides. And it's a cone. So the safe zone is very thin, close to him. Again, walk away to be extra safe. So you see, I'm far away here. And you can see the damage show up. There it is on the left and right of me. There it is. That's all you guys need to know for that enhanced pattern. The normal version of those patterns. The first one, you simply stand still. After the first explosion, you do not move. You just stay there. The second explosion, you're in the safe spot. For the other attack, the one where the cardinal direction safe zone is, instead of a cardinal direction safe zone, it's like a donut around him that's safe. So close to him, dangerous. So like right here, close to him, be dangerous, but about where I am, a big circle around him, safe. So that's pretty much like this distance, all the way around him in any direction you want will be safe. There you go. All right, so this is the next clash. This is clash number 3 total. the second one since we've been outside. Now, when you're learning lower damage, it's going to be a different fight for you. But I wanted to see, there's a special sidereal interaction. You have to make it to the third clash or let him break the arena on the first clash to use it. If your damage is lower, it should not be an issue. But if you push him past 90 bars, you'll go into the basement, the final phase. So that's what you're trying to do out here, is just get him to 90 as soon as possible. So you'll see there's no clash. You're going to see no blue circles show up here. So he's going to break the stage. So you want to stay away. Don't be close to the stage. Like, don't be in this area. When he slams down his sword, it'll kill you. So be over here, completely away from him by a good distance, and let him break the stage, then just continue fighting him. Remember, once the stage breaks, you're back to the normal red patterns. Now, he's at 78. He's just going to skip all this and go into the basement, so it doesn't really matter. Just want you guys to know this. All right, basement phase. We are doing the 55 bar mech. His health is much lower than that. Don't worry about it. But we are doing the 55 bar mech. And what this is, a typing test will pop up. And then you just do the typing test and find a safe zone. Just like before, remember the tiles that disappear? The red tiles keep going. The only thing that's different besides this typing test is that your controls are reversed. So if you want to run up here, you got to aim your mouse down here. If you guys ever did the Brel Gate 4, Old Gate 6, you'll know what this is. So do the typing test, then click opposite of where you're trying to run. You see this? See where my cursor is? There you go. You can use your auto attacks to do micro adjustments so you're not running out. There you go. Once you're done with this, you have to go fight your clone. So you'll run to the middle, opposite controls. See this little puff of purple smoke? That's where your clone's going to appear. And you'll get the timing down the more you do this. But you can just kill him as soon as he spawns. Then the boss is going to show up. He takes reduced damage, but only 50%. So you can still do damage here. The boss had very low health, and I didn't want to kill him because I wanted to restart the run to do more testing. So I didn't attack, but you should just be attacking here. And he'll always do this alternating explosion pattern, just diagonal safe zone. So the first safe zone for me I picked was here. Diagonal of that safe zone will be safe. So here, here, here. That's how this one works. Just a normal attack pattern. You'll get used to that. So now, anytime he's at like under 40 health bars, around 40-ish health bars or below, he will trigger the final clash. And if you want to practice like you're going to do it in the raid, you can run to the left side of the map. This is what groups do. They do this simply to aim him because the clash is based on where Thaemine appears. So he'll disappear. He'll do 3 shadow slams. 1 right here, 2, 3. So the third one's here, and I'm aiming to the left. So Thaemine's going to appear right here, and the clash is going to be behind him. So you see, there he is, clash. Now, again, doing clash, you'll see he just dies. So this is how I found out that the clashes deal damage to him. Because I definitely didn't know that. I was planning on restarting, but I killed him and I couldn't restart. So there you go. That is the major mechanics of Thaemine. It is a very fun raid. I hope you guys enjoy it. If there's any specifics that I didn't cover that you want help on, please just ask me. There is one thing that I do want to mention on gate 1 that I thought about during that. We were on gate 3 there. And that's in order to do that special Balthor interaction. Here, let me find one of these orbs. You have to have one of these little orbs. And see these little creatures that spawn from time to time on gate 1? If you kill these, it'll just spawn this little black circle and you have to pick it up. It gives you, it looks like that. See that little blood globe? You pick that up, it'll give you a stack called organism, and the icon looks like this. down here, this little purple thing. You can get up to 10 stacks. You need at least one. The more you get, I think the more damage you'll do to the boss when you do that special Balthor. So I just wanted to mention that before I forgot. I had to record this multiple times because I didn't like how it came out. So sorry I missed it going on the first time, but that's it, guys. Let me know if there's something else you need. Otherwise, I will get cracking on the Echidna guide. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.